think, this year, and I think they'll get more people to have eyes on them, and I think they'll have potential to beat Reigns this year in their annual rivalry game. And I think the last 3 years, I believe, Reigns has won those games. It's either 2 or 3 that's the streak right now for that rivalry. But Reebok is a team I would definitely watch this year as well.
I did notice that it seems like a lot of people are still high on Lee despite their the players they lost in the off season. I'm just trying to understand why. Like, is there something that I'm missing that might be why they're still being seen as one of the top teams in Northeast Florida and Jacksonville specifically?
Lee's still pretty talented, and I think when those two teams play each other, Lee and Reebok, I think it'll be pretty close whenever they play.
I'm definitely curious to see how Columbia will do against them, because currently Lee's supposed to be our last game on our schedule because they have a 4-game schedule at the moment.
Wait, who's got a 4-game schedule?
Columbia.
I thought they had more than that. I thought they had 6, but that's insane. I mean, I don't know if they'll be able to make the playoffs with a 4-game schedule, to be honest.
Volleyball for Columbia has already opted out of the playoffs, and it does sound like football could be opting out at some point too. They just haven't made a decision yet.
Oh man, that would really suck for them, to be honest. Especially with Columbia having just some great talent there. Another team I would like to mention as well. Further down in Volusia County, I would actually like to talk about New Smyrna Beach. They are a team where they've had some talent as well, and I know that whole county. It's hard to tell with who would be would be really great. I mean, Spruce Creek and Mainland are usually pretty solid, and DeLand's been getting really good the last few years. But I wouldn't count out New Smyrna Beach. They're a team that I think will make the playoffs as well this year.
Yeah, they're well coached too. They have the John Wilkerson, who who coached Cocoa to the state championship in 2016. So they obviously, it was definitely a huge grab for them to be able to hire him as their coach. But that actually made me think. Obviously, you mentioned DeLand, but another one who's essentially was a district rival of them that seems to not really be getting talked about much is Flagler Palm Coast. And they're a well-coached... I keep Travis Rowland, I believe, is their coach. And from all accounts, he's a very good coach over there. So Flagler called coach, which I don't believe that. I don't think the Flagler area actually really has any other teams that are direct competition for talent. So they might be a team worth watching.
Yeah, the last 2 or 3 years Flagler Palm Coast has looked really good. The rival Matanzas, they've had some struggles, but they've been trying to gain talent as well there. But yeah, Flagler Palm Coast will still be strong, I believe. Then the last team I wanted to add or touch up on that I think will have some pretty good potential will be Gainesville. Gainesville had a struggling year last year. They didn't look too good, which shocked a lot of people. But I think this year they'll be back up on their feet and potentially could be a playoff team, especially if they end up still going by districts. They would be a team that I think would make the playoffs as well.
I did mention them before on the last show, but Trinity Catholic seems to be. I think they might be Trinity Christian's biggest threat in the 3A North at this point. They had 3 offensive linemen that I saw in their roster that were over 300 pounds, including a 3-star center. They also have a 3-star running back, and they had a solid quarterback transfer in from Oak Hall over the offseason. So Trinity Catholic, they are seriously a team to watch. And of another note, when Andrew Thomas left, they ended up hiring John Bradley back, who was the coach that 10 years ago led them to their most recent state title when they went undefeated in 2010.
Oh yeah, Trinity Catholic is a pretty great team too, but yeah. I haven't heard much about them, but they've always had a reputation of being good. But like I said, that whole area, the Alachua County, Ocala area, Gainesville, I think will be a team that they'll be back up, and make the playoffs. And I know last year was a rough year for them, but I think they've got potential this year with their roster.
In Alachua County, it seems like Buchholz and Hawthorne were the two teams that I've heard good things about so far.
Yeah, those two are pretty solid. Newberry's solid as well, but as another small town school. And yeah, Buchholz, I think, in that trio rivalry with them in Gainesville and Eastside, Buchholz has ranked supreme, I think, for the last few years over both of them, from what I remember.
So, yeah, I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head with teams. Obviously, I'm sure there's always some good ones out there I probably missed. But, yeah, it looks like we're primed for an interesting season. And we probably would have been, even if it wasn't for all this COVID stuff. And we probably would have still had a season that would have been very interesting to watch.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that's why I'm saying that this week 2, I know it would be week 1 if this was normal, because some of these games would be a week 1 matchups, but this week will be a very interesting Friday. That's all I'm going to say. It'll be a very interesting Friday to see how these games play out. Who knows? There may be some shockers. Maybe one team gets blown out more than we think, or the other team or the underdog ends up winning. Especially with some of these rivalry games, it's very possible this week, I think, and that's why I'm saying this will probably be the most. I think out of all weeks for this year in the North Florida area, I think this will probably be the most interesting week of all of them.
What do you think will be the most likely upset of the week?
Out of all the games we talked about,
I know we picked our scores on it, but out of all those games, what would be the most likely one you could see a massive upset in?
Oh, this is a tough one. The only one I can think of, I actually got 2 of them that I can name on top of my head. I don't know about the upsets, because this first game I'm about to mention, I wouldn't consider an upset because I think they're equally talented. But when I picked Reball over First Coast, I think First Coast could, they could beat them, because First Coast usually has pretty loaded talent, and they have a great head coach as well there. So I think they could beat Reball as well, even though I predicted Reball by 10. And then the other one, which you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but I think it has potential this year. Creekside upsetting Bartram Trail, and I know Creekside's been the underdog the last few years because Bartram's been pretty strong, and then Creekside, they weren't as great as them overall, but like I said, Creekside's trying to build a reputation, and they have a possibility to shock St. John's, Duval area, even their district. I think they have potential to beat Bartram Trail as well.
That would be interesting. I believe they've only beaten Bartram Trail once in their history, and that was 2014, which was, I believe, the last time Bartram actually missed the playoffs.
I can remember.
Oh wait, they missed it.
Bartram missed the playoffs.
Oh wait, it was. I forgot they. The first year of the point system, Bartram missed as well because they were 7-3 that year, and I think they lost out to Fletcher.
Yeah, I think that was 2017, 2018, right around
there. Yeah,
there,
2018.
But those are the two I think that could have potential upsets.
I know I picked Baker County in the but I'm thinking Orange Park might be a potential upset. They are at home in this one. If there's any of the ones that I could think of off the top of my head that I picked, I would probably say Orange Park might be my pick for an upset there.
Oh yeah, like we said earlier, it should be a good game. And Orange Park, they've been rebuilding, and they look like a team. They're a team to be looked at in Clay County. Also, a potential playoff team as well. It's just going to depend how they play some of their county games as well, because they got to worry about Fleming Island and Oakley, which I think they have. I think they have both of them on their schedule, from what I remember.
I don't know what's happened to Clay though, because I thought they used to be so good.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened with Clay. They had a real rough year last year. I know they used to be one of the best teams. I think last year I think Oakleaf won the best team in the county last year, I think. And they should have played Fleming Allen because that would have been the real match right there on who would win it, because Fleming Allen's also pretty good. And I don't think that either one of those teams are scheduled against each other. I'm actually trying to look up the schedule now.
That would I wish they would. I don't know why they don't play, because they're not that they're very relatively close together, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Orange Park actually doesn't play Oakleaf or Fleming Island, which is shocking. But
I would have thought when all those the games got basically had to be on restart, that most of those counties would have wanted to go mostly county, and then if they wanted to schedule more games, then start from there.
the Fleming Island and Oakleaf does play this year, because last year they didn't, but this year they added each other, and they'll be at Oakleaf. So if anything this year, we got that. It's actually one of the matchups I wanted to happen so bad, especially with both teams being good. And Fleming Island's been really impressive, and we're going to find out on October 9th. Fleming Island at Oakleaf, that's a game to mark on your calendars as well.
Doesn't Bartram and Oakleaf also play the week after?
I gotta look that up as well. I'm looking it all up right now.
That was the game I really wanted to make sure that see that happen.
October 23rd at Bartram Trail.
That's gonna be good.
One. That's gonna be the real big one. That's probably be one of the best ones this year. If that was a game of the year, at my end of the season awards, that will probably be mentioned on there, because this one is gonna be the real match between both of these two teams.
If they both keep winning, that could end up being potentially top 25, top 15 ranked teams facing off at that point. So that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, but I think that's all I can say about for this week, and then for today's show.
All right, thank you all for joining us. We'll get this episode uploaded as soon as we can, and for all the teams playing this week, good luck. Hopefully you get your first win. Or I guess if you played last week, you can either rebound from your loss or go to 2-0. And here I am in Columbia County. We're still waiting for our first game, which is until the end of the month.